everything I do is like heroin. So I asked the guy if he had a needle in his portfolio. I told him to put the needle in my track mark. I mean, I like it. A lot of people think I ought to disguise it with like a rocket ship or something. Let's face it, drugs made me into the person I am today. My name is Neil. I started using drugs at the age of 12. Um, they were mainly marijuana and psychedelics until I was 21 when I started using heroin, intravenously, of course, until May 7th of this year, and I'm 62. When I first started, it was fun. It was a social thing. Not for long, though. Not for long. Maybe about the first couple of years I was using with people that loved to party. We went to a lot of parties. But when I started to want to, I used to ask my friends and stuff if we could go in on a large amount. I was used to suggest doing that. It would be cheaper for us. Well, I couldn't get nobody to do that because everybody was thinking of ripping each other off. And that's when I started to realize heroin was a selfish drug. It wasn't a party drug anymore. This is how I used to think about it. Diabetics have to use insulin every day. So I figured, well, I'm a heroin addict. I'm going to have to use heroin every day. And that's how I looked at it. I didn't want to die. I wasn't depressed. I just figured I got myself into a bit of a mess, and I was going to have to live with it. I thought it was making me work more hours, but actually what was happening was I was starting to go in withdrawal and get sick, and couldn't go to work like that, so I'd use drugs, right? So in my warped mind, I'm not thinking about withdrawals right away, thinking that these drugs are helping me get to work and be more productive. And withdrawals were just a little side effect that I had from using drugs. I believed that for a long time. I actually believed there was nothing going on except the fact that I was self-medicating myself from depression and the getting older. You know, I started noticing my daughters calling me less and less. People not wanting to talk to me anymore. It was actually getting pretty lonely. A feeling of loneliness was starting to set in. And that's what really got me going. And then the realization of, I have 4 kids, 2 girls, 2 boys. Both my boys are addicts. And I thought maybe if I go through this, it might show them that it's not too late, it can be done, because they got their whole lives ahead of them. The drugs out there nowadays are nothing like when I started. It's a totally different scene, and it's more violent. People will kill you for $20. And young people are just, I don't know what careless. They've lost respect for other people's lives. There's no love anymore, you know. And also started thinking about all the years I wasted. I mean, my wife died because of drugs. My brother died inadvertently from drugs. He got hepatitis C. We both did. His turned into cancer, and he passed away. All my friends are dead. I have one friend left who I went to kindergarten with. He's still a heroin addict. We started using at the same time, just about, yeah. And he's still in Detroit using to this day. My brother used to say 15 minutes of pleasure for a lifetime of misery. And it's pretty much what it is. I mean, towards the end of my drug use, I had to cop quite a lot to stay happy, to stay at the point where I was, and it was getting to be a real problem. Also, I was using. I mean, every penny I made went for that drug. And then my rent. I always was good with my bills, but I was starting to pay my rent in quarters. You know, a little bit this week, a little bit next week, and yeah, I guess it was starting. It took longer for me to get into the the problems of it, the big problems of it, but it did eventually happen. And like I'm saying, it doesn't matter how long you go. I went I mean, what, 50 or 40 years or whatever with heroin. You could go 2 years, 3 years. It just took me a little longer for it to really drag me down. But that's nothing to be proud of. For the time being, I'm really happy to walk into this facility and talk to people that I can relate to every day. And hopefully, and most of them are a lot younger than me, and hopefully shed a little light on this problem. And I actually thought for many years that I had just been self-medicating myself and had it mastered. I mean, I've always had a job. I never had to steal or scam or hustle. I've always had good paying jobs to support my habit. And I just didn't actually think I was doing anything wrong to anybody or myself. As a matter of fact, I thought I was helping myself be more productive in society by using drugs. My biggest hope is that my boys get off this stuff and that every young person in this country sees the light, because, I mean, if you look at the big picture, this generation of people is going to be running this planet soon. And if they don't get their shit together soon, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good at all. And they should start thinking about that.